All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our return edition of the Pro Wrestling Show featuring myself, Justin Clapper. We are excited exclusively. We have Progress World Champion Spike Trivet on the other end. Spike, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Justin. Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
We appreciate having you. Now, what we are doing here, we are congratulating you, extending our warmest wishes from the Pro Wrestling Show over here in the States to over 1 year as Progress World Champion, 382 days. You got to be feeling great about that.
Um, I mean, I feel good about it in many ways, but to be honest, it just sort of feels normal. It feels like exactly where it was meant to go. I feel like there was a lot of people in the beginning who felt like it wasn't going to be what it's become, and here I am, just 382 days later, and they just keep going. Every day passes, and every day I'm still the champion. I'm still the best in the country. I'm still the most antagonizing character in the UK and across Europe, and I'm soon going to be the same thing across the world.
Okay, impressive, impressive. I want to talk to you about a few of the title defenses that you had successful.
Sure.
I'll name a couple opponents, and you give me your thoughts on them. I got to start with Cara Noir.
Yeah, there's a notable one with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what do I have to say about Mr. Dawkins? Um, well, that was the culmination of a very, very long process and a very, very long rivalry that the two of us had. And I actually said to you before this interview began, me and Tom Dawkins have always been intertwined. And there was a time when Tom Dawkins Cara Noir is the longest reigning Progress champion in history. And there was a time during the pandemic, when Progress Wrestling and British Wrestling was in quite a dark time. And bless him, he felt the responsibility to strap us all to his back and carry us out of the darkness. And we're all very, very, very happy and very, very grateful. Thank you, Mr. Tom Dawkins. But now it's a different time, and we culminated our rivalry by having the first ever cage match in the ballroom. It was a landmark achievement, and we sold it out and put a lot of money in both our pockets, and a lot of money behind the merch table as well. And it was the end of a vicious, bloody rivalry that could only end one way, which was two birds in a cage. But two birds walked in, one walked out, and that was me. And Tom Dawkins is, in his own way, still wreaking still realizing and feeling the havoc that I wreaked on him from that very day. So I think after 18 months of who's the biggest bird on the scene, I think it's pretty obvious which one walked out and which one's still here. And I wish him all the best, but I obviously wish myself more.
Awesome. As I say, 18-month reign as champion. Is that something that you have your sights on?
Um, yeah, I mean, I have my sights just set on. I mean, a phrase that I've put out a lot when anybody wants to comment on anything to do with me in the championship. When the photo of me and Adam Cole face to face went up, when Anthony Gogo decided that it was a good idea to say that he wanted to hold the Progress Championship, when anybody has decided to come after the Progress Championship while I've held it, I've always said one phrase: from my cold, dead hands. I will be lying pale with my cold, witchy, white hands will be clasped around that belt, and even then you'll have to fight me to get it off me. And the situation with that is, as well, everybody thinks that I'm this underhanded little man who's going to do anything to hold on to the championship by any means possible. And most wrestlers would look at that as an insult. Well, I look at that as a very big compliment, because that's exactly what's going to happen. I would rather go down swinging, dying, ripping your ears and eyes out than let you take that belt from me. And so 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, however long until I decide to let it go. That's the situation as far as I'm concerned.
Understandable. Let's move on. Big Damo. You've faced and defeated Big Damo during your reign here a couple times, I believe.
Well, a couple of times, in that the first time I defeated him, I ended his 13-day reign as Progress Men's Championship. He'd obviously beat Chris Ridgway, the best part of 2 weeks later, best part of 2 weeks previously in Sheffield, I believe. And he was going toe-to-toe with Driller Maloney at the time. Driller Maloney dropped him on his head. But I held the key. Progress literally had a key, which was our sort of money in the bank, if you will. And I unlocked my future and unlocked my destiny right there and then. And I pinned him. And he's lucky because, I made it a triple threat match. I could have not have pinned him if I wanted to, but I respect him. So I pinned him there and then. And that was the first time, yeah. The second time was at unboxing. And, people didn't like the way I did it, but he came up short again. And, so as far as I'm concerned with Big Damo, me and Big Damo in championship matches is 2-0. I greatly respect him. Everybody looks up to him. But as far as I'm concerned, I've looked down on him. I look up to him, but I've also looked down on him twice. And that's, that's a very big, important scalp that I hold close to my heart.
Moving on, Jonathan Gresham.
Well, Jonathan Gresham is very interesting to me because, the octopus Jonathan Gresham, he was the person who was wrestling Cara Noir for the belt. And it was me that came in and interrupted Cara Noir versus Jonathan Gresham and made that playing field very uneven. And it caused Jonathan Gresham to be able to capitalize and show us all who he really is, because he low-blowed Cara Noir and he took the belt from him in front of everybody. Now, you could say that Cara Noir, who was a strong fighting champion and who nobody on the roster could beat, the deciding factor in Cara Noir losing that belt was, you could say that it was the Vulture. You could say that if it wasn't for me, Jonathan Gresham would never have been the champion. And on a second occasion, because of me, Jonathan Gresham is not the champion. And again, it's very hard in these interviews, Justin, because you've obviously got to make sure that politically you don't insult people and you don't make people upset when you walk into locker rooms and see them. But, the common denominator here is that when Spike Trivet is involved, you don't walk away from it with the things that you want. Your dreams don't come true. When the Vulture flies, your dream dies. And Jonathan Gresham is just another example of that.
Wow.
Very good, though.
Okay, let's move on to a little different topic now. I want to talk about maybe some of the people that have gotten the best of you. I want to talk about Driller Maloney. It gets a win. He's now in Japan. How do you feel about him?
Well, exactly what do you mean by he got the best of me? What does that mean? How did he get the best of me?
I'm just saying, from what I hear, that Driller Maloney does have a victory.
Well, he has a victory. Yeah, I don't know who you're speaking to, but he does have a victory. We wrestled once, and he beat me. And we then had a sit-down interview where I admitted that I took my eye off the ball. And then we wrestled for the championship after that. And is he the Progress champion after that? No. Is he in the Bullet Club? Yeah, fantastic. Is he the IWGP Tag Team Championship? Yeah, that's it. But as far as I'm concerned, when it comes, well, it's not even as far as I'm concerned. Factually, between me and Driller Maloney, we are one each. We are one all. He doesn't just hold a victory over me. He beat me once, and then I beat him. But when he beat me, it wasn't for the championship. When I beat him, it was for the championship, and he walked out with no championship, covered in his own blood, crying in the middle of the ring. You can go back and watch that. So I wouldn't say he necessarily got the best of me. He got the best of me at one time, but he didn't get the best of me long term. He doesn't have the Progress Men's Championship. I still have it, and it's still the same reign that it was then. And that was a year ago as well. That was 11 months ago.
Okay. Well, and pardon me for bringing it up. I almost hate to bring this next part up. If I go a little more recently, Kid Lykos, he had you down in the 6-man tag match for it appeared to be an 8 count champ. Your thoughts?
What I don't really understand what the benefit was. I thought this was an interview with me about my championship reign and the things that I have done in order to hype up the next match at Hungry Like the Wolf. I thought that was the intention.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Hungry Like the Wolf because you'll be facing Kid Lykos, but
well, why aren't we talking about that then?
I want to.
Why aren't we talking about that? What? No. Why? If you want to talk about it, then why aren't we fucking talking about it? Why are you talking about that? Yes. All right. So Lykos won. The first Lykos, the best Lykos, apparently. He took me in his Lykos clutch or whatever it is, rolled me up in a 6-man when the ref wasn't paying attention. Managed to get a 6 count. It was very good. And if you look at the photos of that, there is a very clear hand on the back of my tights. If you look at that very, very closely, but nobody seems to be bringing that up. That doesn't seem to be a thing that people want to bring up, is it?
No,
I don't really understand, Justin, why you're wasting my time. I don't really understand what the point of this is. You went through Progress and begged me for this interview, and all you wanted me to do is wind me up. All you wanted me to do is piss me off.
I'm just trying to ask.
No. Your time for talking is absolutely over. It's the Vulture's time now. All right? There's only one thing that's going to happen at Hungry Like the Wolf, and that is I'm going to put a dog down. I'm going to take him, I'm going to rip his mask into the turnbuckle, I'm going to scrape him all over the thing, and by the end of it, all over the ballroom, and by the end of it, he will be what I think they call in your country, roadkill. Or maybe what you might call it, Justin, as food. All right? So don't you dare waste my time again. Do you understand me? If you ever contact Progress and ask to speak to me again, trust me, you are going to get a very big, resounding no. How dare you waste my time? Do you know what? You know what, Justin? How about this?
Spike Trivet, I believe we lost him. I think he hung up. Oh, man. Well, live from Justin Clapper's Pro Wrestling Show with Progress World Champion Spike Trivet. That did not end the way I wanted it to. But on September 24th at the Electric Ballroom in Camden, at Hungry Like the Wolf, you're going to be able to see the champ Spike Trivet versus Kid Lykos. Like I said, check out Demand Progress Plus, the last event. Kid Lykos had him down for an 8 count. I'm curious to see what happened. I'm going to contact Progress Management and I guess apologize for my line of questioning. Until next time, this is Justin Clapper for the Pro Wrestling Show.